Bitcoin is hot off the presses, but does anyone really understand what Bitcoin and decentralized finance, or DeFi, actually is? The principle may be easy to understand, but in practice, how does it work? With a price per coin of over $57,000 as of February 22, 2021, and a market cap over $1 trillion, Bitcoin and the entire crypto industry is undisputedly valuable, and set to be one of the largest movers and shakers in the finance world. But why? What do crypto coins do? What is blockchain? What is DeFi? Luckily for you, we have spent a while pulling together the simplest explanation we possibly can that even a 5-year-old could understand. If you still don't get it after this video, well, perhaps crypto isn't for you. Before we jump in, let's set the scene. Traditionally, banks are at the heart of the financial system and are reliant on the trust people place upon them. When people want to exchange money, they require a central third party, i.e. a bank or a credit card company, to validate and record transactions. The banks not only take a cut of the transaction, but also act as honeypots, vulnerable not just to attack or hacking, but also to fraudulent activity. This problem has resulted in the people versus the system love child, crypto. Let's jump right in. Firstly, what is cryptocurrency? Crypto, or cryptocurrency, is a completely digital or virtual asset that has been designed to store a record of who owns the assets after a transfer. That information is stored on a public record book, a ledger, that an entire community of real people have access to and visibility of for fraud prevention. Imagine you're trying to send a parcel full of money to someone 10,000 miles away. If you simply put the parcel in the post, you may never see it again. It could get stolen, it might get lost, destroyed, and without tracking information, you wouldn't know what happened to it. However, if multiple people all the way through the journey constantly wrote a progress report, updated the tracking information, and were able to verify the receipt of the package, you'd feel pretty confident in sending the parcel, right? That's essentially how cryptocurrency works. A network of individuals like you and I form part of a gigantic network to verify transactions between two parties and record those transactions on a public ledger for transparency and safety purposes. How does cryptocurrency like Bitcoin work then? In the real world, if you give me $1, the transaction would be straightforward. It would leave your hand, I would take the dollar, and you would use your own eyes to verify I now own that dollar. The dollar was physically placed in my hand. We simply wouldn't need anyone else to verify the transaction between us, as we both witness it with our own eyes. I could then take that dollar, pay it into my bank, or buy whatever item I wanted to. But what if you gave me a virtual dollar? Then what? You can't see, touch, smell, or taste it. So how could you possibly verify I had received it? How would you know you don't still have it? How would you know I hadn't given it to somebody else? It's more complicated to try and solve that one, especially when the dollar isn't tangible. The way forward would be to track each virtual or digital dollar in a record book, or as it's properly called, a ledger. This ledger would track who the digital dollar had been sent from, who it is sent to, when it was sent, the value of the digital exchange, and so on. But who would manage the ledger? What's to stop someone editing the records? What's to stop someone adding a few more zeros to the transaction, or even changing the recipient's name or address? The solution: give everyone who uses the network a copy of the ledger. Every single person who uses the digital dollar exchange network would see a copy of the ledger. The times, dates, values, and more importantly, users would be able to verify the transaction as a group instead of as an individual. You would also define the total amount of digital dollars that are available to be moved around the world. If there was 10 million digital dollars that existed and someone tried to move 12 million digital dollars, everyone would know that this is impossible. You can't trade 2 million more digital dollars than existed in the whole system. You couldn't possibly lie with this system. You couldn't make up more digital dollars than you own. or send it to a bogus address because then everyone else in the digital dollar network would see what you're up to and invalidate your transaction. The network, which in this case is made up of real people with real computers around the world, own, operate, secure, and record every single transaction that takes place in the digital dollar exchange. It would in effect be one of the largest verification networks in the world. And as a bonus for the hard work all those people have put in time and effort to maintain the network and verify all those transactions would be rewarded with a few digital dollars themselves, sort of like a payment for their efforts. Cryptocurrency networks. In essence, what we have described above is exactly how Bitcoin works. Simplified. Taking Bitcoin as the example here. There is a total of 21 million Bitcoins ever produced. A portion of those Bitcoins are kept in reserve to pay people to maintain the Bitcoin network. This is known as mining. Mining is what people do to maintain the Bitcoin network and verify transaction, just like we spoke about. Every time someone transfers a Bitcoin, half a Bitcoin, a tenth of a Bitcoin, or 100 Bitcoins, the web of users who are part of the Bitcoin network will verify the transaction details to make sure it is legitimate and secure. When this has been completed, the people who have helped make the transaction possible, the miners, are rewarded with a small token of appreciation in the form of Bitcoin. The value of their payment changes depending on the price of Bitcoin, as it would be ridiculous to reward someone $10,000 to simply turn their computer on. The value of Bitcoin is determined by the amount of supply and demand, and as more and more Bitcoins are mined, the less left in the circulation there is, which drives the price up. Many have linked Bitcoin's price to gold, since there is a finite amount of Bitcoin, as is there a finite amount of gold. DeFi. The results of this system is that no one person, government, or bank has overarching control whatsoever, and so is classified as decentralized finance, or DeFi for short. It means that within the Bitcoin or crypto network, assets, which in the instance of Bitcoin represents money, is exchanged securely, validated by all members of the network, rather than a central authority like a bank. This enables trust and confidence across the whole network. And the great thing, this doesn't have to apply to just monetary transactions. We are all increasingly concerned about privacy and data. So, crypto and blockchain technology can help fix these flaws in a seemingly simple way. Over to you. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin? Do you understand crypto now? Do you think it will ever work? Or will we always revert back to the good old-fashioned dollar for our money? Drop us a comment below and let us know what you think. If you've enjoyed this video, remember smash subscribe, hit the bell icon, and drop us a like. It would cause a positive ripple effect that would be stellar for our channel. Puns aside, stay strange everybody.